This is my soft palpations practical video with Maddie. Okay, this is your annular ligament to the top of the lateral elbow, and you palpate here, and it's to indicate a sprain or radial head dislocation. Next, we have the UCL. You have one here, 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 and here, and you palpate all of these for a sprain, and that's at every finger. Okay, and then the RCLs, you have one here, 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 and down here, and these are also for sprain. All right, next we have the flexor retiniculum, and this is right here on the anterior side, and it's like the sheath that covers the carpals, and you would palpate this for tendinitis and a strain. Okay, same thing, but on the opposite side. So this is the extensor retiniculum, and you would this on the posterior side sheath of the carpals, and you palpate this for also tendinitis or strain. Next we have the extensor digitorum, and this goes from the lateral epicondyle all the way up to in between the second to fifth phalanx, and this would be palpated for a strain or no or. Okay, we have the palmaris longus, and this goes from the palmar aponeurosis sheath on the palm side all the way to the medial epicondyle, and you would palpate this for a strain. Okay, we have the supinator and pronator, and the supinator is from like here to here, the lateral epicondyle is proximal radial shaft, and it's for strain, and then the pronator teres is from the medial epicondyle to the proximal radial shaft, and this is also for a strain. Okay, next is the distal biceps tendon, and to see this, I'm going to have her, I'm going to do resisted flexion, and it should be right here, and you can see it, and this is for a strain. Okay, next we have the triceps, and they start at your scapula right up here, and they go down to your olecranon, and this would be like the top portion, and then you have the medial portion and the lateral portion, and you palpate all these for a strain. Okay, next we have the brachialis, which you would palpate for a strain, and it's like deep under the bicep, but you palpate it up and down the bicep, and you can kind of feel it, and yeah. Okay, now we have the brachioradialis, and this starts above the lateral epicondyle, and it goes all the way down to the stellate process of the radius, and you would palpate all along here for a strain. Okay, next we have the inconius, and it starts at the lateral epicondyle, and it goes down to the olecranon, and you'd palpate that for a strain. Okay, this would be the TFCC, and it's the medial side, kind of next to the pisiform, and you would palpate this for a tear. Okay, this is the extensor pollicis longus, and you start at like the posterior middle ulna interosus, and you go and cross down to the base of the thumb, and you would palpate for strain. Okay, these are the thenar eminence and hypothenar eminence, and the thenar eminence is on the thumb side. It's the little pad right here on the anterior thumb side, and then the hypothenar is a little pad on the anterior pinky side, and it's slightly smaller, and you palpate both of those for contusions. Okay, and then we have the abductor pollicis longus. This goes from like the radius to the outside of the thumb, and you palpate for strain. Okay, next is the adductor pollicis, and you would go from the anterior bottom of the thumb to the third metacarpal, and you palpate for strain. Okay, then we have the flexor carpi ulnaris, and it's kind of starts at the medial epicondyle or the olecranon, and it goes down to the pisiform to the hamate on the pinky side, and you palpate that for strain. Okay, next we have the extensor carpi radialis, and you start this at the second metacarpal, and you go all the way to the base of the humerus, and you palpate that for strain. Okay, next we have the extensor carpi ulnaris, and it starts at the lateral epicondyle, and it goes all the way to the base of the fifth metacarpal, and you palpate for strain. Next we have the flexor carpi radialis, and it starts at the medial epicondyle, and it goes to the third metacarpal, and you palpate for strain. Okay, next we have the pronator quadratus muscle, and it's between the radius and ulna, but it's slightly below the rest, so like around here, and it's for you palpate for strain. Okay, next we have the flexor pollicis longus, and you start at the anterior medial epicondyle and go all the way to the anterior thumb. You palpate for a strain as well. Okay, and then we have the extensor digi, and we start at the medial posterior epicondyle and come all the way and wrap around to the pinky posterior side, and you do that for a strain. The lumbrical, which is in between the metacarpals, but it's kind of deeper. So on top of that is the palmar interossi, which is on top of that, and then posteriorly we have the dorsal interossi, and it's all in a sandwich like that, and those are all for strain. Then we have the flexor digitorum profundus, and that goes from the medial epicondyle all the way, and from the second to fifth fingers all the way distally, and then the flexor digitorum superficialis goes from the medial epicondyle to second and fifth, but it stops in the middle like here, and those are both for strain.